What is going on, guys? It is your boy MegaLugia here, bringing you NPL Season 2 Week 8, going up against the Hidden Village Roserades, coached by Turbo. Make sure to check them out, his link will be in the description. And before we even begin, I want to say that this is going to be a very interesting match because, low-key, I know Turbo has been waiting all season for this match. And I'm pretty excited about it too. I'm not as into it as maybe he is, because I'm sure he really wants to pick up a win against me. I want to get a win as well. But this is going to be a very interesting match to say the least. So make sure to smash the like button if you guys are hyped, and subscribe if you're new. Let me know any changes you would bring once you see the team. And also, I do want to say I'm going to try and make these team builders a little bit shorter, because once they extend past 20 minutes, it's a little bit redundant. So I'm going to try and keep it short. Fingers crossed. We'll see how I do. So like I said, we're going up against the Hidden Village Roserades. They are 2-5, I believe. They have a very good team, and they actually had a better team a few weeks ago, but they dropped Pokemon like Latios, Excadrill, and what was his Mega? And Mega Diancie for Landorus, Alakazam, and Mega Altaria. So I'm happy that he made those changes, because I feel like I can handle those Pokemon a lot better. So without further ado, let's get into his team. He has a Mega Altaria, Arcanine, Alakazam, Scolipede, Landorus, Electros, Greninja, Torrent Greninja. No protein shit, alright? No, we ain't got time for that. Mismagius, Articuno, Chestnut, and Ditto. So when you look at his team, very, very well balanced and a lot of threats. So before we get into it, let me predict the 6 I think I'm gonna come. I'm thinking, I don't think he's gonna bring Mega Altaria, because I have so many things that threaten it out. It honestly, it wouldn't make too much sense, but hey, I'm always wrong in my prediction game, so let's see. I'm predicting the Arcanine, the Alakazam, the Scolipede, the Landorus, the Greninja, and then either the Ditto or the Mismagius, and you could toss in Electros there as well, because we'll get into it later on once we analyze each of his monsters. So the first monster they have is Mega Altaria. Very, very good Pokemon, but it needs to have the right surroundings and circumstances for it to do well. I think it's very underwhelming, because yes, it is Fairy Dragon, very good typing, and it's very defensive and can set up with the Dragon Dance. But if you don't get that Dragon Dance up, it's not going to do too much. 110 base attack just isn't that hard hitting, and 80 base speed just really hinders it, in my opinion. But he could bring it. He could bring a more defensive set, with Cotton Guard, Roost, Heal Bell, Dragon Dance. He could bring the special set with Hyper Voice and Earthquake mixed, whatever it is. He may even bring Draco Meteor, right? Because I do have some resistances to Fairy on my team. But that's Mega Altaria. I don't think it's gonna come. Next up is the Arcanine. I am sure the thing is gonna come, because, well, I'm 99.9% sure, because if this man doesn't bring it, then I don't know what he's trying to play at, because it works up so well against my team. Offensive or defensive Arcanine works really well. Defensive can take hits from my Mega Gardevoir, my Entei, all these things. Especially with the Rocky Helmet, and Intimidate can take it from my Gyarados as well. So I'm expecting the Arcanine to come. He could bring in more offensive, because it's really hard to find a switch in for my team with a combination of like Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, Wild Charge. Obviously he has Extreme Speed, like we have Extreme Speed on Entei, so battle the Extreme Speeds, but I expect Arcanine to come. Next up is the Alakazam, very, very hard special attacker. Essentially, you have to kill this thing twice because of the Magic Guard. Usually want to run it with Focus Sash, so even if I Hazard Stack him, not going to be too much of a problem for him. So I'm expecting this thing to come probably like Psychic, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, and Energy Ball for my Seismitoad. So I'm expecting Alakazam. Next up is the Scolipede, one Mon that low-key I really wanted on my team. I actually tried to trade it to him, but instead we got Entei. You know what? I'm happy with my boy Entei. Scolipede, you know what this thing does, right? Speed boost, Baton Pass. If he doesn't want a Baton Pass, he can go Swords Dance, Mega Horn, Earthquake, Aqua Tail, moves like that. Can even set up spikes, Toxic Spikes. So I do have to watch with the Scolipede, and I think this thing is gonna come. Next up is the Landorus. This boy is not Sheer Force, alright? Lando Life Orb Sheer Force is broken, and I pray, thank you Trevor, creator of this league. No Sheer Force Lando. So there we go, Lando. It is Sand Force, obviously not Sheer Force. Still hits very hard on the special side and the physical side. If it does come, I'm thinking it's going to be like a Rock Polish set to potentially sweep me late game, but we have ways around it. Next up, he has the Electros. Very, very cool Mon. Obviously, Levitate and Electric type, so it doesn't have that weakness to Ground type unless you have a Pokemon with Mold Breaker, which unfortunately we don't. So if you slap this thing with an Assault Vest, this thing just becomes bulky as hell and can take hits for days. Can potentially take 2 Hyper Voices from my Gardevoir if it is timid or non-special attack boosting nature, but we have ways around that as well. So I think Electros is going to come, has really good coverage moves for my team, Vultures for the Gyarados, Giga Drain for the Seismitoad, Drain Punch for the Heatran and the Kyurem, and Flamethrower for like my Seismitoad? Not Seismitoad. Toxicroak, who has the dry skin ability, right? So that is Electros. I think this thing is going to come. Potentially. Next up, he has the Greninja. This boy, like I said, is not protein. It is torrent, so we don't have as much to worry about. And if you take away the protein from Greninja, it's not that powerful, right? Only base 1-0. I think it's in the low 100s for a special attack, and 123 speed. It is very fast and outspeeds the entirety of my team. If he does bring it, I think it could be Scarfed because of I tend to bring Scarf Mienshao every week. So this is one thing that outspeeds it and can OHKO it back. So Greninja is a possibility to come. If you want something a Life Orb set, you can bring a mix with like Gunk Shot, Hydro Pump, not Hydro Pump, Scald, Dark Pulse, and Grass Knot. So Greninja, pretty sure 100% of this thing is coming because he loves to bring it. Next up is Mismagius, and you know Mismagius is actually, let me break it down. Mismagius is actually a very, very scary mon for my team because I did some testing with it beforehand, and the first draft I had of this team, Mismagius 6-0'd me, so I definitely had to make some changes and work around it just in case this thing comes, because he's never brought it, but it has a really good matchup against me this week, so I'm fearing it to come, but I do have ways around it. Next up is the Articuno. His only way of removing hazards, you heard that right, his only way of removing hazards is 50% weak to Stealth Rock, so we do have to keep that in mind. Very, I mean, it's an okay mon. I think it's pretty underwhelming. I personally love Articuno, but it's not that good offensively. You know, it has good moves like Hurricane, Sheer Cold if you want to be that guy, Freeze Dry, Ice Beam. I don't think it's going to come, but it could. Next up, he has the Chestnut, a very good physical sponge. He can take hits for days, especially from my Gyarados. This is probably his best answer to my Gyarados, but I don't think it's going to come because I have prep for it, but I have so many ways around it with my other mon, so I don't think it's going to come. Mega Gardevoir just like obliterates this thing. But Chestnut, you know, Leech Seed, Spikes, Drain Punch, Spiky Shield, Wood Hammer for my Seismitoad. Let me go ahead and fix this first. Hold on. Excuse me, guys. This has been bugging me. But that is the Chestnut. I don't think it's going to come, but it is a very good physical response to a lot of my mons, so it could come. But having said that, I cannot take a Sacred Fire from my Entei. Entei just eats this Chestnut up for breakfast. Next, and I mean last but certainly not least, he has the Ditto. Very scary mon. Because when you're prepping for an opponent's team and they have a Ditto, you essentially have to prepare for your team as well. Because if he copies any one of my mons, it's very dangerous, right? Because I put a lot of faith in my mons, you know. I know they are capable offensively, and if he gets one of them versus my team, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So I'm hoping he doesn't bring it, but if he does bring it, it's not like we're going to, you know, get 6-0 swept. I do have ways around it, especially if he's locked into a move with a Choice Scarf. So we have to watch out for the Ditto and potentially see when he might bring it in and that kind of stuff. So that is his team. Very scary team. Like I said, I'm thinking the Arcanine, Alakazam, Scolipede, Lando, Greninja, and Mismagius. Let's jump into our team, shall we? Yes, we shall. So the first, excuse me. The first mon that we're bringing is Wrath, our Gyarados, coming every single week for a good reason. Rocking the Substitute, Dragon Dance, Waterfall, Ice Fang, Max Attack, 116 Defense, 4 Special Defense, 132 Speed, Adamant Nature with Intimidate, and Wakan Berry as the held item. Now Wakan Berry is there because you know, I'm expecting maybe HP Electric on the Greninja, and obviously the Volt Switch or the Thunderbolt on the Electros. And if he wants to stay in versus me, we can definitely take one of those hits. We can Dragon Dance up, and then we can OHKO them back. Well, not the Greninja, but you know, he's probably not gonna want to stay in, and it is really frail. So Waterfall will do some damage. That 116 Defense, I believe, is gonna come in clutch because it allows us to live a Adamant, Life Orb, Rock Slide after Rocks from a Scolipede after Intimidate. Very situational, I know, but we can do a lot of damage back to Scolipede with Waterfall, and it also allows us to take a lot of physical hits as well on his team, like a Wood Hammer from a Chestnut if he wants to be an all-out offensive set. But very good set right here, and the 132 speed allows us to outspeed a Arcanine. I think, yeah, a defensive Arcanine. A lot of my speed tiers are based around Arcanine because his teams are super fast, right? I'm not gonna outspeed his fast threats, so we can outspeed a max speed Timid Alakazam after one Dragon Dance, and we can outspeed a defensive, relatively little speed invested defensive Arcanine. So I'm hoping Wrath can definitely put in the work this week. Next up, we have Queen Amidala, our Mega Gardevoir with Hyper Voice, Psyshock, Trick Room, Toxic, Max HP, Max Special Attack, Quiet Nature with the Trace ability before Mega Evolve. So Hyper Voice Psyshock obviously just tears through his team. We are modest, well, not modest, we are special attack boosting, so we can do we do I think 50 to 53% with a Psyshock on an Arcanine, so we 2-hit KO that thing every single time. We have Toxic as well because early game, if he wants to switch out into like his Arcanine for whatever reason, right, we can go for the Toxic and just whittle that thing down because I didn't really have another move I wanted to slap on this thing. And lastly, we have the Trick Room because late game, if we can get a Trick Room up and he's like, oh, if I have my Mega Gardevoir and he has all his fast mons left and he thinks he can sweep me, we go for the Trick Room and we just plow through his team because with the Quiet Nature, we outslow everything that I want to outslow. Obviously, I'm not going to go for Trick Room when his slow mons are around like his Chestnut or his Electros, and we do so much damage with Hyper Voice and Psyshock, it's ridiculous. So that's why we have the Trick Room. If you have the Trick Room up and he has his fast mons left, it's pretty much GG and Mega Gardevoir sweep. So that is Mega Gardevoir Queen Amidala. This thing's gonna be a monster this week. Next up, we have Sub-Zero at Kyurem. Very, 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 very offensive set. Draco Meteor, Ice Beam, Dragon Plus, Earth Power, 164 HP, max special attack, and 92 speed. Modest, rocking the choice specs with pressure as the ability, which doesn't really matter. I wish Kyurem got a better ability, but that speed allows us, like I said, to outspeed a defensive Arcanine who is trying to speed creep a non-invested Mega Gardevoir in speed, if that makes sense, because I do like to bring 0 speed on my Mega Gardevoir a lot of times, so you might try to speed creep that with the Arcanine, so that's why we have 92 speed. Max special attack, Modest. Oh my god, we click Draco Meteor and something dies. I'm probably gonna lead off with this. This is probably my dedicated lead because nothing can OHKO me, nothing scares me out too much. We drop a Draco, something dies, man. Even Dragon Pulse can pick up a lot of KOs against his team, and Earth Power OHKOs the Arcanine, but I'm probably gonna go for Draco Meteor as it is. So this thing is just a nuke. Whenever I bring it in, we drop a Draco, something dies. So that is Sub-Zero at Kyurem. I'm definitely expecting it to pick up at least 1 kill this week. Coming in number 4 on the team, we have Vaseline, our Toxicroak. Ever since we picked this thing up from free agency, has definitely been putting in the work, so I'm very happy that we have it. It's Rock and Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Sludge Wave, Super Fang, Max Attack, 72 Special Attack, 184 Speed, Naughty, Dry Skin, Hold in the Life Orb. So that speed, like I said, allows us to outspeed the defensive Arcanine. Max Attack, 72 Special Attack, so we can hit as hard as we want, and Naughty, so we do not reduce our any of our attacking sets. And I think Naughty reduces your special defense, correct me if I'm wrong, and Dry Skin, so his Greninja cannot blindly click Scald. I do expect the thing to have extra Sentry, but we're going to have to watch out for it on Life Orb so we can hit as hard as we can. Knockoff, just very nice to get rid of items. Knockoff, OHKOs the Alakazam, OHKOs the Mismagius. Sucker Punch is doing the same thing. Sludge Wave for the Arcanine if he wants to switch in. We have a special attack so his Intimidate can't affect us. And we have Super Fang. This is probably for early game or like versus the Electros or whatever it is. We get anything down to 50% HP landed. I mean, granted we hit, because it is 90% accurate, but I have missed Super Fangs in the past, and it's not a fun time. So that is Vaseline, our Toxicroak, hitting very, very hard, and just very good all-around utility mon. Hold up. Number 5 on the team, we have Sensei, another one of our free agencies that we seem to be bringing. Sucker Punch, Giga Drain, Dark Pulse, Extra Sentry, Max Attack, 68 special defense, special attack, 180 speed, mild chlorophyll with the Assault Vest. Now, you may be thinking, why are you running Assault Vest on such a piss poor Pokemon defensively? Well, you know what? I told you I have no switch-ins for Mismagius, right? A Specs Modest Mismagius Shadow Ball does max 23%. If you look at the rest of my team, what takes a Shadow Ball? Nothing. So that's why I have the Mismagius. We can take 3 Shadow Balls, if not 4, and we can OHKO with Dark Pulse or Sucker Punch. So that's what we have Sensei. Also, Giga Drain doing a lot of damage to the Greninja, and Scald obviously not going to do too much. Extra Sentry can OHKO the Scolipede and do a lot of damage to the Chestnut. So very, very good mon. I don't think he's going to expect it because Shifter usually does one thing, and you're not going to expect to have an Assault Vest. So I think this thing is going to do really well. Doesn't have defog, but he might expect it to have defog, so there is a bit of a mind game there with hazard stacking and all that kind of shenanigans. But that is Sensei, our Shiftry. I'm hoping this thing can live some hits, because if this thing goes down and he has a Spectrus Magus, it's pretty much GG. So that is Sensei, our Shiftry. Rounding out the team, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, we have Entei, Father. Now before I get into this, I do want to say I have changed this team so many times, changed the set so many times, and there are so many different mons that I wanted to bring, but you can only bring 6 mons. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that when I first made this team, Entei was not on the team, Shifter was not on the team. There were so many things I wanted to bring, and I had such, oh my god, I'm not gonna spoil it because I do still have this. I have it in my locker, right? If I want to bring it in the next week, but I had some heat sets with Entei and Gyarados specifically. And this set that you see from Entei was completely different to what I originally had, right? But in the end, I just couldn't stray away from the Choice Banded Adamant set because don't fix what's not broke. And although if I brought the other set, I could have, you know, won Player of the Century, it wasn't worth it. But this is Entei, and you know, I may even change it up before the battle tomorrow. I'm not even sure. Just come back for the battle tomorrow and see what we did. But let's not delay anymore. We have Entei Father with the Sacred Fire, Stone Edge, Iron Head, Extreme Speed, 152 HP, Max Attack, 100 Speed, Adamant with the Choice Band. That 100 Speed allows us to outspeed a Arcanine that's trying to, you know, speed creep on Mega Gardevoir, like I said. And just Sacred Fire hitting everything really hard. Stone Edge can 2-hit KO the Arcanine even with an Intimidate drop. Iron Head doing a lot of damage to the Mega Altaria. And E-Speed just, you know, I need this priority late game to pick off his fast threats like his Lando, like his Scolipede, like his Arcanine, not his Arcanine, like his Alakazam, like his Greninja, like his Articuno, like everything, right? Extreme Speed does a shit ton of damage. It does at least like 55 or 60% to all of his mons. So this is gonna be my late game cleaner and maybe even my, you know, my lead. If I don't want to lead off with the Kyurem, I can go with Sacred Fire, do a lot of damage, and just, you know, burn something, except for the Arcanine, but then I'll probably go for the Stone Edge. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our team. What are we at? We are at 16 minutes, so I said we are going to try and shorten this thing down. Couldn't do it, but I guess your boy just likes to talk. Well, I'm not going to delay it anymore. Make sure to smash a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of the team down below. Come back tomorrow for the battle. Check out Turbo. All that said, thanks for watching, guys. It has been your boy MegaLugia here, checking out. Peace.